Hey everyone, welcome back to Resistance Book Club. My name is Kita, and this here is going to be the May through August wrap up. This here is going to be long, so if I was you, I get some snacks, a drink, and come on back. All right, so yeah, this is going to be long. I'll try to keep it, keep it moving, and just bear with me, but come on, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. So, first one in May that I read was The Magnolia Parks, The Long Way Home. So, that one is book three of the series, and it was this is how it goes. How many loves do you get in a lifetime? And are Magnolia and BJ each other's one and only? It's been nearly a year since everything happened between Magnolia Parks and BJ Valentine on the steps of the Mandarin Oriental, and since then it seems like everything has changed. Magnolia has a life in New York now, and BJ appears to have finally let go and moved on. But when they both wind up back in London and are thrust together once again, they find themselves asking their age old question: how many loves do you actually get in a lifetime? And most important, are they each other's? The listening ship for this is 19 hours and 17 minutes, and it is narrated by Benjamin Noble and Ella Ray Smith. This one here was actually pretty good. I am literally immersed in the Magnolia Parks universe. I am. I thought it was really good. Cliffhanger from from book one, because the book two is the Daisy Hates. And, but yeah, so skip over the Daisy Hates and get into this one because it's literally um, taken after the book one, because that's all Magnolia and BJ's. Really good. It was really good. Like, I had no complaints about it. It's the drama for me. Like, it's, I'm here for the drama. Like, I don't care. I love it. I love that it's so this whole back and forth between them. Christian is still my favorite. He is. And some friendships have died and moved on, and others have stayed, and then there's all these different things that has happened within the family dynamic, and it was getting really, really, really ridiculous. But it's like drama, like it's drama all the time. So still, you know between BJ and Magnolia, it's always going to be a back and forth whether they're each other's one and only. But like keep saying before, and I will keep saying it again, and they are soulmates, but they don't have to be physical with each other in order to be soulmates. It's a thing. Like, you can actually literally be friends and be soulmates, but you don't have to like physically be intimate with each other to be soulmates. But there it is a thing. Um, but yeah, other than that, it was so good, so good. Y'all gotta let me know down in the comments if y'all love the Magnolia parts, thing, because I be loving it. I really do. All right. All right, so the next one is, of course, because I read that one, The Long Way Home, I've read the next one, which is The Daisy Hates the Great Undoing, book four. Uh, so Daisy Hates thought she left everything about her old life in the past, the crime, her family, and the man she loves. But when her safety is threatened once again, she finds herself back under the watchful eyes of her gang lord brother Julian and her ex-boyfriend Christian, both desperate to keep her safe. Everything gets more complicated when beautiful, broken-hearted socialite Magnolia Parks enters the scene, and Julian finds himself entangled with her because for Julian, falling in love isn't just unwelcome, it could be deadly for everyone involved. Listenership for this is 13 hours and 8 minutes, and it is narrated by Adam Hugel, Michael Shelford, and Sabrina Bartlett. So this one here, yeah, definitely, I remember because it was like one for Julian, one for Christian, and the other one is for Daisy. Like those are the three POVs that they had. This one here was actually really good. I loved it the minute I read Daisy Hates. I loved the whole, gangster family, but it's still like technically a romance, if you will. And everything about it, like again, I'm a Christian fan. Like I love Christian. Julian is like the brother I need, but I already have that. Like he can be that way, but he's not in that sense that way. But very gangster like, it's funny. I love the banter between Julian and Christian. It's literally funny up until the points of all right, you're there to keep my sister safe, blah blah blah, that type of thing. Um it's just a great series. Like now I am sitting here with book 5 and I don't even want to read it because I don't want to be done in this world. And I'll read it. I'll read it. I'll read it like before the year is out. I'm definitely gonna read it. I literally have it. It's in my Audible. It's at the ready. It's been ready for months. I literally got it in May and I still haven't read it, and we're in September. So yeah, I know. Yeah, Kita, just read it. Just read it. Yeah, I know. I'll read it. I'll read it. Next one is Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. This is her newest one that came out this year. So this one is Justin has a curse, and thanks to a Reddit thread, is now all over the internet. He dates uh, every woman he dates goes on to find their soulmate the second they break up. When a woman slides into his DMs with the same problem, they come in with a plan. They date each other and break up. Their curses will cancel each other out, and they'll both go on to find the loves of their lives. It's a bunker idea, and it just might work. Emma hadn't planned that her next assignment as a traveling nurse would be in Minnesota, but she and her best friend agree that dating Justin is too good of an opportunity to pass up, especially when they get to rent an adorable cottage on a private island on Lake Minnesota. Minnetonka? Okay. I don't remember that. I remember the private island, but I don't remember the name like that. Okay. It's supposed to be a quick fling just for the summer, but when Emma's toxic mother shows up and Justin has to assume guardianship of his three siblings, they're suddenly navigating a lot more than they expected, including catching real feelings for each other. What if this time fate has actually brought the perfect pair together? So this here listenership is 11 hours and 43 minutes, and it is narrated by Christine Lecken, Zachary Weber, and then Abby Jimenez. I believe it's like towards the end of the book or in the beginning of the book, which I forgot which way. This here was actually it was a good story. It's not really one of my favorites from Abby Jimenez. I love Part of Your World and Yours Truly. To me, I think Yours Truly is probably the my favorite. But funny thing is, I did discussion questions for both of those, and it's all gone. Anyway, but yeah, so I love those two more. This one here was okay to me. I mean, it did the job of what it needed to do. I did love the story. I love the jokes in between. It had a certain flair to it. It's definitely hold on its own. It's not holding up to the same candle as Yours Truly and Part of Your World. It's like the feelings of those books is there. But definitely there's always like something that whether we're dealing with mental health issues or substance abuse or, however the case may be, is always that in her books. And she always takes very good care of how she writes it. So I never have a problem with that. But let me tell you, next book that comes out, I am going to read. If she keeps going the way that she's going with this, yeah, I'm going to keep on reading her stuff. I think she definitely has the potential of growth. It's just this one here just fell short for me. But I did love the concept. That concept is a banger. Like it really is. It was stupid bonkers to even be thinking that type of way. But there are people that are like that. But yeah, love the book. I mean, like the book, didn't really love it, but it's still cool though. Next one is The Sacrifice, and this here is by Rin Chupeco. An island oasis turns deadly when a terrifying legend threatens to kill all visitors one by one in this haunted novel from the highly acclaimed author of The Girl from the Well and the Bone Witch trilogy. Pristine beaches, lush greenery, and perfect weather, the island of Kis- Kisamata, I think it's Kisamata, would be the vacation destination if not for the curse. The Filipino locals speak of it in hushed voices and refuse to step foot on the island. They know the lives they know the lies it has claimed. They won't be next. A Hollywood film crew won't be dissuaded. Legend claims a dreamer god sleeps, waiting to grant unimaginable powers in exchange for 8 sacrifices. The producers are determined to document the evidence and they convince Alan, a local team, to be their guide. Within minutes of their arrival, a giant sinkhole appears, revealing a giant balete tree with a mummified corpse entwined in its gnarled branches, and the crew start seeing strange visions. Alon knows they are falling victim to the island's curse. If Alon can't convince them to leave, there is no telling who will survive or how much the dreamer god will destroy. This here listenership is 8 hours and 25 minutes and is narrated by Pun Bandu. This one here was actually very interesting. This here was a buddy read between me and Jaleesa, and listening to it lends a different experience, I have to say. Thankfully, I did listen to it. I would have to say it was pretty good. I think I already knew what was happening, who was happening by. Did it execute? Yes, but for some reason, the writing of it kind of still fell short for me. But other than that, it was still a decent read. Like it really was. It was a decent read. I don't know if I would read, I'm still debating if I really want to read another book from this author, but I feel like if the other ones is what this person is known by, then I may just end up taking a chance and just reading it just to see if it does hold, like the writing is good. Cause maybe this here was probably like a first time, or maybe now, I'm not too sure. I'm gonna have to look into that because to me that always determines whether, okay, if this one here came out now, but your other one is what you were known for, came out before, and those were great, then we may have a problem with your writing. Just saying. But if this here was like your first book, and then you have the other ones that you're known by, then I can see that because then your writing has really progressed better because there was still something in there I felt like we were missing. But it played out like a movie to me. And it had all the trappings of you're on an island. You see that the island is like um, taking people one by one. And now we have to figure out like what is this? Like who is doing this for real? But yeah, it was decent. It was really decent. All right, so next one is All We Were Promised by Ashton Lattimore. And this here is a debut novel. Um, so, set in Philadelphia 1837, after Charlotte escaped from the crumbling White Oaks plantation down south, she expected freedom to feel different from her former life as an enslaved housemaid. After all, Philadelphia is supposed to be the birthplace of American liberty. Instead, she's locked away, playing servant to her white passing father as they both attempt to hide their identities from slave catchers who would destroy their lives. Longing to break away, Charlotte befriends Nell, a budding abolitionist from one of Philadelphia's wealthiest black families. Just as Charlotte starts to envision a future, a familiar face from her past reappears. Evie, her friend from White Oaks, has been brought to the city by the plantation mistress, and she's desperate to escape. But as Charlotte and Nell conspire to rescue her, in a city engulfed by race riots and attacks on abolitionists, they soon discovered that fighting for Evie's freedom may cost them their own. The listenership for this is 12 hours and 44 minutes, and it is narrated by Shayna Small. And I believe in the back it has Ashton Lattimore talk, author's note, and whatnot in the back or in the front, whichever one. This here was actually pretty decent. It was still good. I think I believe I gave this like a 4 star. Because you have three women, three black women. They're just trying to make it in Philadelphia. One is definitely trying to escape, and what do you do with that? Like you need the help. So Charlotte is the one who actually knows Evie. Nell doesn't know Evie, but then she learns who Evie is and who is she to Charlotte. And then it's kind of like, okay, now we have to really like conspire to plot this escape. And yeah, I thought it was actually pretty decent. Listening to it, it was cool. Like I don't know what else to say. It is slave you're dealing with free slaves, slave owners, and at a time where all these riots and stuff is happening, white people is still not happy with the fact that they have free slaves in Philadelphia. So all of that with the trappings, and it's still, she executed it the way that it was supposed to be. And that is that. Nothing more else to say. But yeah, I had given it a 4 stars. Next one is Direwood by Catherine Wu, or Yu, sorry. Aja and Fiona live in Glen Hills, a small town plagued by a mysterious fog. At night it rains black stones and a pair of vampires roams the town. With so many perils lurking in the night, everyone in town observes a curfew. But when her older sister disappears, Aja follows the vampire through the fog and into the forest to find her. There, Aja discovers the vampire's lair in a ruined church filled with her former classmates. Most of them turn into enthralled servants. Now, Aja, along with her friend Nico and ex BFF Mary, must face their own differences and work together to escape. But while Aja tries to find and save her friends, her sister, and herself, she must also come to terms with her own secret truth. She's fascinated by the very monster who lured her in. Listenership is 8 hours and 21 minutes and is narrated by Cindy K. This one, another buddy read for me and Jaleesa. So what we did was we wanted to read for AAPI during that month, because in the month of May is AAPI, and we picked The Sacrifice and Direwood. Sacrifice was 20 times better than Direwood. Direwood, I couldn't even tell you what it was about. Like, I don't remember. That's sad. So I didn't like it. There was nothing redeemable in here. There was nothing really to talk about in here. And I have to keep it real. It wasn't my vibe. It really wasn't my vibe. So with that being said, let's move on. Um, Next one is Real Americans by Rachel Kong. Um, so just so you know, this one here, I got this as book of the month, and also all we were promised is book of the month. I'll let y'all know which one I have for book of the month as I go along. But yeah, this one here, Real Americans, I had got as a book of the month. Real Americans begin on the precipice of Y2K in New York City when 22-year-old Lily Chen, an unpaid intern at a slick media company, meets Matthew. Matthew is everything Lily is not: easygoing and effortlessly attractive, a native East Coaster, and most notably, heir to a vast pharmaceutical empire. Lily couldn't be more different. Flat broke, raised in Tampa, the only child of scientists who fled Miles' Cultural Revolution. Despite all this, Lily and Matthew fall in love. In 2021, 15-year-old Nick Chen has never felt like he belonged on the isolated Washington island where he lives with his single mother, Lily. He can't shake the sense she's hiding something. When Nick sets out to find his biological father, the journey threatens to raise more questions than it provides answers. In immersive, moving prose, Rachel Kong weaves a profound tale of class and striving, race and disability, and family and inheritance, a story of trust, forgiveness, and finally coming home. Exuberant and explosive, Real Americans is a social novel par excellence that asks, are we destined or made? And if we are made, who gets to do the making? Can our genetic past be overcome? Listenership for this is 14 hours and 40 minutes, and it is narrated by Louisa Zhu, Eric Yang, and Eunice Wong. This one here was actually pretty good. Like, it was decent. It was different. That story was different, but it had all like I was like, where are we going with this? Like, it's the back and forth for me, and then I kept thinking like, where is this story going? It wasn't until I got in the middle of it, and then I was like, are we really going here? Like, there's a whole like plot of like genetic makings and whatnot, and I'm like, dang. And then she starts tying all of the strings together, and then I was like, I see you. Okay. So it was good. It was good. It was different. It was definitely different. I wasn't expecting that. I went in it real blind. But at the end of it, I was like, okay, I understand. Now, the ending, I don't know. I still don't know how I feel about that ending. I really don't. Because the way it ended, I was still left with like, girl, really? That's how we end this? Like, big question mark. What just happened here? But it's still, it's still in my head and I'm still processing it. So at the moment, it's still at a 4. It's still good. It's still good. It's still good. But it's that ending. I don't know how I feel about that ending. But hey, let me know down in the comment sections if you read the book and had an understanding as to what it was about. It, like I said, it didn't take me until the middle of the book to like really understand what was going on, because it was really like the POVs was just going back and forth. But it wasn't until I got in the middle I was like, I got you. And then to like have Rachel Kong like weave in all of the details now, because to me it really wasn't picking up until we get into Act 3, and then things was just like boom, boom, boom. And then the ending, I was like, mind blown, what just happened? But yeah, but overall, it was still good. I enjoyed it. I really did. All right, next one we have is The Partner Plot. This one here is by Christina Forrest. We follow Violet Green. Fashion is everything. As a successful celebrity stylist, she travels all over the world, living out her dreams. Professionally, she's thriving, but her personal life is in shambles. After surviving a very public breakup with her ex fiance 6 months ago, Violet is now determined to focus on her career. But life hands her something, or rather, someone, that might derail everything. Xavier Wright did not expect to run into his high school girlfriend, Violet, the girl he once thought he married, on a birthday trip to Vegas. As a high school teacher and basketball coach, he rarely leaves his New Jersey hometown, so what were the chances? But when the initial shock wears off, they decide to celebrate together. They feel young and reckless as they party the night away, and reckless they clearly were when the following morning they wake up beside each other with rings on their fingers. Their impulsive nuptials might be a blessing in disguise, though, when they realize that both of their careers could benefit from the marriage. So they play the part of a blissfully wedded couple. Yet when their passion comes hurling back, they realize their um, they realize their feelings are just as real as they were back when they were teens. But are their lives too different to stick it through, or will they finally get a happy ending? The listenership for this is 10 hours and 19 minutes, and it is narrated by Or Nash and Benjamin Charles. I actually did not listen to this. I actually just read it. It was so good. It was so cute. Still had, even though Violet was living in New York, in New Jersey is like some small town in New Jersey, and it just had the small town feels of it. And I love Xavier, I love Violet together. They were just so cute. So it has like the whole fake marriage, small town vibes between two black people and black love. So it was definitely cute. I really, really thoroughly enjoyed it. And I love the fact that you get to see her work like as a fashion celebrity stylist. And that's how she met her fiance. And then when that didn't work out and she was just trying to get away from that whole situation, it was, her and Xavier, and just like really coming together in the sense that they had to reconnect. And I love that. It's always good when it's like a reconnecting vibe of it all. But yeah, I thought it was actually pretty cute. It was really cute. I loved it. I'm just now noticing that this here says it's book 2 of 3, which is called The Green Sisters. So you mean to tell me, like, is that neighbor favor thing? Oh no, it is. So you have to read the neighbor favor, the partner plot, and she has the next one, the love lyric. Oh, so lyric is getting her own. Yeah, because you meet lyric and not lyric, Iris. I don't know why I got those two confused. Okay, stop. Leave it alone. Iris. Yes. So we get Iris's story, and that's not coming until February of next year. That's actually pretty cool. I wonder if it's that guy, the one that was hitting on her. Um, and then so if that's the case, then Lily. Okay. All right. So that's how we get. Okay. It makes sense now. Now I'm ready to read the neighbor favor. I'm ready to read the neighbor favor. Come on now. Because I really thought the partner plot was actually really good. I may just end up reading that one. All right. Next one, Blood at the Root by Ladarian Williams. 10 years ago, Malik's life changed forever the night his mother mysteriously vanished and he discovered he had uncontrollable powers. Since then, he has kept his abilities hidden, looking out for himself and his younger foster brother, Tay. Now, at 17, Malik is finally ready to start a new life for both of them, far from the trauma of his past. However, a daring act to rescue Tay reveals an unexpected connection with his long lost grandmother, a legendary conjurer with ties to a hidden magical university that Malik's mother attended. At Cayman University, Malik's eyes are open to a future he never could have envisioned for himself, one that includes the reappearance of his first love, Alexis. His search for answers about his heritage, his powers, and what really happened to his mother exposes the cracks in their magical community as it faces a reawakened evil dating back to the Haitian Revolution. Together with Alexis, Malik discovers a lot beneath the surface at Cayman, feuding covens and magical politics, forbidden knowledge, and buried mysteries. In a wholly unique saga of family, history, and community, Malik must embrace his legacy to save what's left of his old family as well as his new one, exploring the roots and secrets that connect us in an unforgettable contemporary setting. This heart pounding fantasy series opener is a rich tapestry of atmosphere, intrigue, and emotion. Total listenership is 14 hours and 54 minutes, and it is narrated by Jalen Hall. This year was so good. I loved it. I loved it a lot. Following Malik, doing the whole root magic root work, really. I love the banter between the families. It was the blackety black family for me. Eating the food, having a little banter back and forth. That was the best part. Grandma was another best part. The banter between him and his friends is another best part. And like them at the university and just doing the thing. Like you're a college student, at this place, and it's the same. Like it was so relatable. Let me just say that. It was just so relatable. Like really relatable. That's how we are, around each other. And I'm so happy that he captured that. Like it was just so good. The kid, I don't know if he's a kid, but the young man that narrates it, I can say young man because he sounded pretty young narrating it. But he did a really good job with it. When I saw Ladarian post some of the pictures on his threads, it reminded me of book one, even though he was writing it for book two. And it was like, yes, that's exactly how I pictured, him, with the powers, the magic, and all of that. It was just so intriguing, good. The environment of where they were. I mean, it's like just seeing black people using magic, and on top of that having a young black man using magic in the world, like using actual root work in the world. Oh, it was just tugging at my hook, tugging at my heartstrings. You know what I mean? Like I enjoyed it, so I can't wait for book two. And so it's saying a saga. So is this going to be a saga? I don't care. I'm ready for the next one. Put it that way. Also too, I just want to say the Cayman University is all made up, but I love the fact that he made that up and just created an HBCU university just for the magic and everything. It was just great. It was great overall. Great. Um, Next one, The Poisons We Drink by Bethany Baptiste. All right, so in a country divided between humans and witchers, Venus Stoneheart hustles as a brewer making illegal love potions to support her family. Love potions are a dangerous business. Brewing has painful, debilitating side effects, and getting caught means death or a prison sentence. But what Venus is most afraid of is the dark, sentient magic within her. When an enemy's iron bullet kills her mother, Venus's life implodes. Keeping her reckless little sister Janice safe is now her responsibility. When the powerful Grand Witcher, the ruthless head of her coven, offers Venus the chance to punish her mother's killer, she has to pay a steep price for revenge. The cost: brew poisonous potions to enslave DC's most influential politicians in order to pass legislation that will protect Witchers for years to come. That's a mouthful. As Venus crawls deeper into the corrupt underbelly of her city, the line between magic and power blurs, and it's hard to tell who to trust, herself included. The Poisons We Drink is a potent debut about a world where love potions are weaponized against hate and prejudice, sisterhood is unbreakable, and self love is life and death. This year, the listenership is 16 hours and 6 minutes, and it is narrated by Lynette R. Freeman. Yay! Yay, yay! Yo, Lynette Freeman, I put her on. I have put her on 2 point. I think the highest I ever went with her is probably like a 2.25 or 2.5. Her speech is very monotone, like very easy to grasp and everything. But I believe I kept this one here on a 2.0 only because it was a lot of like politics in this, magic politics in this, and human politics because they were, you had humans on this side, witches on the other. It was like that intense. And to be very, very honest, the politics in this was politicking in this. Like she wrote the hell out of that. Like that was the best writing of politics of witch witches and humans. That kept me intrigued throughout the whole damn book. Venus doing her thing and also just kind of infiltrating just to get close to the politicians. Cool, got it. We understood. But I felt like the politics in it was, how would you call it? Like it's a thing that they say in the movies where like New York is its own narration or its own story. Is like the politics in there is its own story and narration, and it's done flawlessly, like flawlessly. It was so good. That's all I'm gonna say. It was really good. Like I couldn't believe it. I don't know what I was thinking getting into this, but I mean just the way it started off, we was already into politics. You get what I'm saying? But as the more story goes on, mind you, we still getting the story of Venus and her mom and all of that other stuff. But it was the background being the politics of it, being the its own story. You get what I'm saying? So I loved it. I love that we're getting a lot of like magics and human, like witches and humans, and seeing that divide, between them and how does it work in this world, and try to have it as a magical realism in the climate now. I always love that. It's the same thing with Blood at the Root, but they were trying to, it's more like hush hush, but you do know that there is an underground of where there is families that are actually doing root work. This one here is out in the open, out in the open, and they all have to try to navigate, amongst each other. So I thought that that was really cool. But yeah, if you really want like a really good politics of witchcraft and witches, magic, and versus the humans, that one is it. All right, let's keep it moving. Next one is Five Broken Blades, and this one here is by May Corlin. So we start off. It's the season for treason. The king of Yusan must die. The five most dangerous liars in the land have been mysteriously summoned to work together for a single objective: to kill the god king June. He has it coming. Under his merciless and mortal hand, the nobles flourish, while the poor and the innocent are imprisoned, ruined, or sold. And now each of the five blades will come for him. Each has tasted bitterness, from the hired hitman seeking atonement, a lovely assassin who seeks freedom, or even the prince banished for his cruel crimes. None can resist the sweet, icy lure of vengeance. They can agree on murder. They can agree on treachery. But for these five killers, each versed in deception, lies, and betrayal, is not enough to forge an alliance. To survive, they'll have to find a way to trust each other, but only one can take the crown. Let the best liar begin. So this one here, uh, wait, I'm just now finding out that this here has a Kindle. It's in Kindle Unlimited now. I didn't know that. But yeah, listenership is 15 hours and 1 minute, and it is narrated by Greg Chung, Zion Jang, Roger Ye, Donald Chang, Janie Ye, and Sophie Oda. So this here is, I actually got in the special edition from Amazon, to be honest. Yeah, from Amazon. And yeah, this year was actually, it was decent. It was decent. It was decent. I felt like we were missing something, like there's a like missing an umph into this. But I do have to say I am intrigued how that second one is gonna go, only because we knew what was gonna happen in the end, only because we knew there was gonna be another book to this. Um but I am intrigued as to seeing how this is all going to play out with all five of them. They all have problems. You're not supposed to like any of them, but it's just the whole point that now the tables have turned, and what are we going to do now? That type of thing. But overall, it's still a decent read. I enjoyed the listen. The banter and everything is pretty cool for me. It kept me going, and to get the understanding of each and every one of their backstories was good, because it, you needed that to kind of bring into the story as to why they're on this journey to do this. Um, so with that being said, yeah, it was still, decent read, decent listen. I will read the next one though, for sure. I will read the next one. Now the next one is The Black Girl Survives in This One, the horror stories. And this here is edited by Desiree S. Evans and Sorashia J. Fennell. And who else do we have? Because there is like more. Tanana Reeve does the introduction. Okay. All right. So it's a YA anthology of horror stories centering Black girls who battle monsters, both human and supernatural, and who survive to the end. Be warned, dear listener, the Black girl survives in this one. Celebrating a new generation of best-selling and acclaimed Black writers, the Black girl survives in this one makes space for Black girls in horror. 15 chilling and thought-provoking stories place Black girls in front and center as heroes and survivors who slay monsters, battle spirits, and face down death. Prepare to be terrified and left breathless by the pieces in this anthology. So, the acclaimed authors include Erin E. Adams, Monica Brashears, Charlotte Nicole Davis, Desiree S. Evans, Sorashia Fennell, Zakia Delilah Harris, Daka Herman, Justina Ireland, Ella McKinney, Brittany Morris, Micah and Marissa Molit, Eden Ross, and Vincent Torrado, with the foreword being narrated by Tanana Reeve Dew. And listenership is 10 hours and 44 minutes, and it's narrated by Shayna Hall for all of them. And this one here was actually decent. I actually liked the first half better than the second half. Kind of fell off of me in the second half, but that first half of that book was it was doing something. It was doing something. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Didn't love it, but I enjoyed it. I'm starting to realize that when it comes to these anthologies, you're not gonna like every single one of the stories. You're probably just gonna like a few of them, and then that's it. In this case, yeah, first half was more stronger than the second half. I feel like the second half kind of fell off for me. Um, with that being said, I think like the next time, I would love to see Kaylin Bayron take on a short story, like a black horror short story, because she can do it because she writes a lot of like her stories is pretty short. You know what I mean? Especially You're Not Supposed to Die Tonight. That's short, very short. So I would love to see that. Um, and I can't think of another one. I have to think about it for the other one, but that my number one. I will probably would love to see. But other than that, it was still a decent listen. I really like enjoyed some of those stories. I really did. Next one is I accidentally summoned a demon boyfriend. This here is by Jessica Cage. And open a book, read a spell. Whoop, there he is, a demon. The last single friend in her group, and tired of being stood up by her girls, a drunken Raina turns to her first love, a book. After jokingly casting a spell her favorite character used to conjure a loving boyfriend, the results aren't nearly as funny because the damn spell worked, just not in a way she thought it would. Now she has a brooding demon who she needs to serve to sever the magical bond with if she ever wants to live normal life again. I cannot speak. Lovers of monster romance will enjoy this new book from USA Today bestselling author Jessica Cage. Listenership is 9 hours and 6 minutes, and it is narrated by Tempest Mensa. Now, this one here, I did not listen to it. I actually read it on Kindle Unlimited. It was there. I said, let me read it because not only that, I was getting the vibe. Like, I love these favorite sisters. I think it's called Sipping with Sisters. I'll leave the link down, but yeah, they kept talking about like reading, demons, and they wanted demons and a black, in that black woman and a demon and all that other stuff. And one of them, I believe they opened up a box that Jessica Cage has sent them, and it had that the this book here. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna read it. I gotta read it. Like I'm gonna read it. And so I told him that I was gonna read it and do a review on it. So I'll let them know. But yeah, this one here, funny, witty, loved every part of it. Is a goddamn like 5 star for me from beginning to end. I can reread that book over. It's hella good. For me, it's hella good. Definitely there's spice in it, but it's not forced. Like they're just getting to know each other, working into their own, you know what I mean? But it was so effing good. Like it was so good. And you just the plot worked its way in there all the way to the very end. She did a really good job. I love this. I love this book. I really do. So I'm hoping to get a copy of it. Like some of these books I don't have a copy of, and I really want it. Like Blood at the Root, I really want a copy of it. And this book here, I really want a copy of it. I just can't do that right now. But yeah, those books I can definitely have on my shelf and reread. It has to be books of where I know I can reread that book. You know what I'm saying? Those are the ones that I can reread. But yeah, if you haven't read that, do yourselves a favor and read it. It's on Kindle Unlimited, or just buy a copy, support the author if you can. Or also let me know down in the comment section if you have read this book, because this book was just a gem. Like, it was a real gem. I can't wait to read something else from her. Yeah, because it was just so good. All right, let's keep moving. I know we're about to hit the hour mark, so just bear with me. So next one we have is The Waves Take You Home by Maria Alejandro Barrios Velez. This one here is Violeta Sanaguera had always done what she was told. She left the man she loved in Colombia in pursuit of a better life for herself, and because her mother and grandmother didn't approve of him. Chasing dreams of education and art in New York City, and with a new love, 28-year-old Violetta establishes a new life for herself on her terms. But when her grandmother suddenly dies, everything changes. After years of being on her own in New York City, Violetta finds herself on a plane back to Colombia, accompanied at all times by the ghost of her grandmother who is sending her messages and signs to find she is the heir of the failing family restaurant, the very one Abuela told her to run from in the first place. The journey leads her to rediscover her home, her grandmother, and even the flame of an old love. Listenership is 13 hours and it is narrated by Krista Gonzalez. This one, oh, just so you know, you can read and listen on Kindle Unlimited for free. This one here was actually really good. It's just really trying to show a person of they where they were meant to be, and how and where they were meant to go, who they were meant to be, even though she had something else for herself. And I love that Violetta was trying to fight it. And that was one of the reasons why she kept seeing her grandmother's ghost following her and being with her. Because her grandmother was really trying to tell her, like, no, this is what you were meant to do. It had nothing to do with the fact that she was just the heir to the restaurant. I think what it is like she had to find the love in what she was doing. And even though she loved the art, I think she loved the art in cooking more. She just needed to figure that part out for herself, but with the help of her grandmother. And I thought that that was great. Um, and also, honey, it was apples and oranges between the two men. Like, clearly, the one in Colombia was more better than the one in New York. You know what I mean? But sometimes you just have to go somewhere to find yourself to come back to what makes sense and what you were meant to do. I think that was just the moral of the whole story. But very deep, very good. I loved it. I loved it from beginning to the very end. Like, everything about it was just like very beautiful, serene, peaceful, but had its rocky moments, but not like rocky as in it was bad in some moments. Rocky meaning that she is sitting there trying to figure herself out, and I thought it was done beautifully. So anytime when these types of books happen, they come to me, I'm like, I like that. I like it because we're always faced with pressures in life from our families, and we just want them to listen to us when we say, like, no, this is what I want to do. But sometimes it's not what you want to do. You just think that this is something that you want to do, but your real love and passion is in this. You get what I'm saying? So, so good. I loved it. Next one is Outdrawn, and I think I've like promoted this book more times when I was reading it. So, Outdrawn is by Deanna Gray, and this is how it goes. It isn't always lonely at the top. Noah Blues finally got her foot in the door after clawing her way to the top of the charts with her web comic. She's garnered enough attention to earn a full-time position at a comic company relaunching their cult classic comic, Queen Laza. Queen Laza is predicted to be an instant bestseller with movie deals already in the making. There's nowhere to go but up. As soon as she gets one person out of her way, Sage Montgomery has always been the best artist in every building she steps foot in. Raw talent's gotten her web comic to the top of the charts every month for the past 8 years. Sure, her career has plateaued, but that can be fixed with a big mainstream comic. She was promised full creative control over Lessa. Instead, she got to share credit with the one artist who's been breathing down her neck since college, the one artist who has a fighting chance of being better than her. Sage and Noah have to work as a team, or at least appear to work as a team. The thought They thought the hardest part of the relaunch would be drawing together, but that's easy in comparison to resisting their feelings for each other. Listenership is 10 hours and 8 minutes, and it is narrated by Sandra Simone and Julian Irons. Also, this here is on Kindle Unlimited, and no, I did not listen to this. I actually just read it, and it was beautifully done. Like, so good. I love this book. I really do. I love this book. It's a rivals to lovers romance, and just to see like it didn't happen so instantly, but there is something in there that did happen, and then to have to come back into the present and figure it out, and it was just great. The overall part that is the best because we don't get it too much is the fact that these are two black women who are comic artists. Let me say that again. Two black women who are comic artists, and notably in their respected in their own right, and I thought it was just so great to actually see it from that perspective. And I believe Sage is the bisexual one, and uh, Noah is the lesbian. So you get to see how they talk about that and get to see how it all came together. And it was just beautiful. And I love how their art has spoke towards each other. It's like talking to each other through art. It was so beautiful. I had given it 4.5, and this is the reason why. I took points off because if you're going to do a comic book, like as a story, as a plot, I need to see illustration. I wanted to see Queen Laza. I wanted to see how they went ahead and put it together. I wanted to see the art of what they were drawing towards each other. I wanted to see like from the beginning to the end as to what they had came up with in the meeting to where they are right now. I wanted to see like all the stuff in their web, the stuff that they were doing on their web comics, that they were doing in that competition. If she would have did that, 555. You get what I'm saying? So hopefully she will turn this into a graphic novel, or like an illustrating, thing, something. You got to do something if you're going to do that. So I took points off, 4.5. I'm sorry, but I had to because I wanted to see art. Like, if you're going to do it, you got to do it. But let me know if you have read this book. And if so, or if you haven't, would you read this book? But overall, this is one of those books I need to have on my shelf too, for real. Next one is The Return of Ellie Black, and this here is by Emiko Jean. Um, Detective, hold on, Detective Chelsea Calhoun's life is turned upside down when she gets the call. Ellie Black, a girl who disappeared years earlier, has resurfaced in the woods of Washington State. But Ellie's reappearance leaves Chelsea with more questions than answer. Answers. It's been 20 years since Detective Chelsea Calhoun's sister vanished when they were teenagers, and ever since she's been searching for signs, for closure, for other missing girls, but happy endings are rare in Chelsea's line of work. Then a glimmer. Local teenager Ellie Black, who disappeared without a trace 2 years earlier, has been found alive in the woods of Washington state. But something is not right with Ellie. She won't say where she's been or who she's protecting, and it's up to Chelsea to find the answers. She needs to get to the bottom of what happened to Ellie for herself and for the memory of her sister, but mostly for the next girl who could be taken and who, unlike Ellie, might never return. Um, is so the return of Ellie Black is both a feminist tour de force about the embers of hope that burn in the aftermath of tragedy, and a twisty thriller that will shock and surprise you right up to the final seconds. Listenership is 10 hours and 11 minutes, and it has a full cast of Mizuho Peck, Tessa Albertson, Nicole Lewis, Rebecca Lohman, Joy Osmonsky, Angel Peen, Sean Taylor Corbett, he keeps popping up too, Erin Ruth Walker, and CJ Wilson. This here is actually pretty good. I love the full cast. When I was listening to it, it really put everything into like the whole experience of it all, and I loved it. I mean, I really did. Now, with the story and the plot behind it, the plot was is like a normal plot. Girl disappears, come back. Now we have to find out what happened. Now the whole point is, did she execute this? She did. She did, because even at the end, I was like, okay, okay, we got it. And overall, like, yeah, it played out like a movie, really. And I really enjoyed it. I really did. I think I prefer uh the audiobook more than just reading it. I do have this as a book of the month, so it is sitting on my shelf. But yeah, so other than that, to me the audiobook is a lot better than just reading it. So I would prefer the audiobook more. All right, next one is Home is Where the Bodies Are by Geneva Rose. And hold on. All right, next one is Home is Where the Bodies Are by Geneva Rose. And this here is after their mother passes, three estranged siblings reunite to sort out her estate. Beth, the oldest, never left home. She stayed with her mom, caring for her until the very end. Nicole, the middle child, has been kept at arm's length due to her ongoing battle with a serious drug addiction. Michael, the youngest, lives out of state and hasn't been back to their small Wisconsin town since their father ran out on them 7 years before. While going through their parents' belongings, the siblings stumble upon a collection of home videos and decide to revisit those happier memories. However, the nostalgia is cut short when one of the VHS tapes reveals a night back in 1999 that none of them have any recollection of. On screen, their father appears covered in blood. What follows is a dead body and a pact between their parents to get rid of it before the video abruptly ends. Beth, Nicole, and Michael must now decide whether to leave the past in the past or uncover the dark secret their mother took to her grave. This here, the listenership is 8 hours and 27 minutes, and it is narrated by January Lavoie, Cassandra Campbell, Brittany Presley, and Andrew Eden. This year was all right. It was decent. It's a typical, who done it really, and what happened. And but I love the concept of it. We have seen this type of concept before, but it was the whole point that it was executed the way that it needed to be executed. You already kind of figure out who it is. It was just the in between details that we needed to figure out. And once those rules put into place, you were good. Um, yeah. So, but I actually only reason why I wanted to read it is because I saw the Barnes and Noble special edition of it where it like pulls out of the case of a VHS. I want that one so bad. Um, but yeah, other than that, that's the reason why I wanted to. It intrigued me, and I listened to it, and I was like, okay, it did its job. The next one is a love song for Ricki Wilde by Tia Williams. Williams, sorry. All right, so leap years are a strange, enchanted time, and for some, even a single February can be life changing. Ricki Wilde has many talents, but being a Wilde isn't one of them. As the impulsive artistic daughter of a powerful Atlanta dynasty, she's the opposite of her family's socialite sisters. Where they're long stem roses, she's a dandelion, an adorable bloom that's actually a weed. Born to float wherever the wind blows. In her bones, Ricki knows that somewhere a different, more exciting life awaits her. When regal, non non uh, what is that? Non-agenarian Miss Della invites her to rent the bottom floor of her Harlem brownstone. Ricki jumps is more have to do with plants and flowers and stuff like that. Ricki jumps at the chance for a fresh beginning. She leaves behind her family, wealth, and chaotic romantic decisions to realize her dream of opening a flower shop. And just beneath the surface of her new neighborhood, the music, stories, and dazzling drama of the Harlem Renaissance still simmers. One evening in February, as the heady, curiously off season scent of night blooming jasmine fills the air, Ricki encounters a handsome, deeply mysterious stranger who knocks her world off balance in the most unexpected way. Set against the backdrop of modern Harlem and Renaissance glamour, A Love Song for Ricki Wilde is a swoon-worthy love story of two passionate artists drawn to the magic, romance, and opportunities of New York, and whose lives are uniquely and irreversibly linked. Listenership is 11 hours and 42 minutes, and it is narrated by Mila Lee and Preston Butler. This here had came out this year in February. It was good. Like it was all right. I would have to say is probably like a step up from the other book, A Perfect Fine. Now I haven't read it. I watched the movie, but if it's anything like that, then we stepped it up a little bit with this one here with A Love Song. It does have magical realism in it. I thought that was cool. Um, the romance was on point. Then when you find out a little bit more as to what the magic was doing, with the love story, you get it, that type of thing. So definitely had more of a predictable, story, but I do have to say it is a little different, but I did like it. I like the story. Um, it is on Kindle Unlimited. Also, to the, I believe, yeah, I listened to it. Yeah, I listened to it. It was actually pretty decent. Like, it wasn't bad. But I do have to say, if it's anything like, you know, because of the perfect fine, this here to me was more, we're getting up there slowly, but we're getting up there. So, yeah. Next one, moving on. We are moving, honey. I Feed Her to the Beast, and the Beast is Me by Jemison Shea. And this here was her debut novel. I believe it was the debut novel of last year. So um, let's get to the story. Laura Messney is a perfectionist with an axe to grind. Despite being constantly overlooking the elite and cutthroat world of the Parisian ballet, she will do anything to prove that a black girl can take center stage. To level the playing field, Laura, I think it's Lore, I forgot how they pronounce her name. Um, Lore ventures deep into the depths of the catacombs and strikes a deal with the pulsating river of blood. The primordial power Lore gains promises, influence, and adoration, everything she's dreamed of and worked toward. With retribution on her mind, she surpasses her bitter and privileged peers, leaving broken bodies behind her on her climb to stardom. But even as undeniable as she is, Laura is not the only monster around, and her vicious desires make her a perfect target for slaughter. As she descends into madness in the mystifying underworld beneath her, she is faced with the ultimate choice: continue to break herself for scraps of validation or succumb to the darkness that wants her exactly as she is. Monstrous heart and all. That is if the God Killer doesn't catch her first. Listenership is 12 hours and 2 minutes, and narrating by Crystalline Lloyd. Honey, this one here was actually really good. I enjoyed this book. I did not know that it was a ballet. I did not know that. When I heard other people talk about it, I did not hear any mentions that this here was a ballet book. I love ballet books. It was so good. I really enjoyed it. I love the opener of it. I love following Lore through all of that and what it means to her to be the number one ballerina on stage amongst all of these other white ballerinas. That's always a problem in ballet. So the fact that we haven't really moved that much is insane. You get what I'm saying? So the fact that this is still a problem and still a thing is an issue. So I'm still happy that we are putting that in books and for other people to read it because it's showing how racism happens everywhere. But the racism in ballet is insane and it's more like going through a hazing and a hate crime, if it gets to that point. And mentally, it can break a black woman down for sure. So, definitely, the mental health is always a big thing. But overall, like this here was definitely had the horror elements in it, and I love that. There was other ballet books that I read before this one, and I'm like, wow, like we are getting there. Like, come on, like keep giving it to me because you're still executing the story. You know what I'm saying? So I'm intrigued. Like the way it ended, I'm here for the next one. You know what I mean? Next one I believe is coming out very, very, very soon. So um I cannot wait because I absolutely love it. I can't believe like this here was her debut novel, so I'm very much interested in reading the next one. Yeah, so we shall see. All right, next one, The Old Woman with the Knife. This here is by Gu Byung-mo, translated by Chi Young Kim, and this here at 65, Hornclaw is beginning to slow down. I love the name. She lives modestly in a small apartment with only her aging dog, a rescue named Deadweight, to keep her company. There are expectations for people her age that she'll retire and live out the rest of her days quietly. But Hornclaw is not like other people. She is an assassin. Double crossers, corporate enemies, cheating spouses for the past 4 decades, Hornclaw has killed them all with ruthless efficiency, and the less she's known about her targets, the better. But now, nearing the end of her career, she has just slipped up. An injury leads her to an unexpected connection with the doctor and his family. But emotions for an assassin are a dangerous proposition. As Hornclaw's world closes in, this final chapter in her career may also mark her own bloody end. a sensation in South Korea, and now translated into English for the first time by Chi Young Kim. The Old Woman with the Knife is an electrifying, singular, mordantly funny novel about the expectations exposed on aging bodies and the dramatic ways in which one woman chooses to reclaim her agency. Listenership is 6 hours and 29 minutes, and it is narrated by Nancy Wu. This one here is funny. It's funny. Like, it's hella hilarious. Gotta hear the name of the dog. I don't want to give that away. This whole thing was hilarious. 6 hours go by so quick when I was listening to this. And it was cool because you get to just see, like, this is really an older woman who used to be an assassin. Like, what? So good. It was so good. I enjoyed it. This here was also a buddy read with Jaleesa and a few others. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I really did. Everything about it. I love listening to it, but yo, like, it was the things that Hornclaw was doing and saying. It was just like, it was so hilarious. I really thought that this drink was really funny, and I needed that in my life. So I was happy to read it. It was so good. I believe I gave it like a 4 stars and whatnot. But yeah, it was so good. 4 or 4.5, I believe. The next one is Confessions of an Alleged Good Girl, and this here is by Joya Goffney. Um, It's the same author that wrote Excuse Me While I Ugly Cry. All right. This here, Monique is a preacher's daughter who detests the impossible rules of her religion. Everyone expects her to wait until marriage, so she has no one to turn to when she discovers that she physically can't have sex. After 2 years of trying and failing, her boyfriend breaks up with her. To win him back, Monique teams up with straight-laced church girl Sasha, who is surprisingly knowledgeable about Monique's condition, as well as Reggie, the misunderstood bad boy who always makes a ruckus at church, and together they embark upon a top secret search for the cure. While on their quest, Monique discovers the value of a true friend and the wonders of a love that accepts her for who she is. Despite everyone's opinions about her virtue, she learns to live for herself, inspiring us all to reclaim our bodies and unapologetically love ourselves. Listenership is 10 hours and 50 minutes, and it is narrated by Angel Pien. This here was so good. This was also another buddy read with Jaleesa, and we should be doing a podcast talk of this because I really want to talk about it. The most that I'm gonna say about it is that this here was actually really good. With the fact that we had someone that had a young woman who was never taught to about sex because of the fact that she's a preacher's daughter, and like, she couldn't even say like certain words and phrases. Like, it was just so weird. And to have, and it's always the same thing. You meet a boy goes ahead and thinks that he done won a diamond because he finds out that you're a virgin, and then goes ahead and does all that he can to treat you really good so he can get the prize at the end, which was have sex, thinking that, oh, well, I'm going to be the one to pop her cherry. You know what I mean? And it was like, dude. And he went at it for like 2 years, I believe. But the whole point is that overall, we as women, and even as a young woman, should not be giving ourselves away off of the strength that this boy is only with you just so he can have sex, then got the nerve to go ahead and break it off with you because he needs it. You know what I mean? Like, he can't handle the fact that, oh, it hasn't worked all these other times, so now I'm gone. You know what I mean? Like, stage left, sir. Bye. So it was so good. I hope we do get a chance to talk about it because I really do want to talk about it. I really do. Next one is the Bookshop Sisterhood, and this here is by Michelle Lindo Rice. After years of hard work, four best friends, Celeste, Yasmin, Tony, and Leslie, are finally on the verge of opening the bookstore of their dreams, a place where their community can find solace with an intriguing new read, a comforting beverage, and book loving friends. But before they can cut the ribbon, their worlds are upended. Tony receives devastating news just months before her wedding, while Celeste's struggling marriage threatens to collapse completely. Leslie learns a shocking secret about her family, and a lotto ticket changed Yasmin's life, but not for the better. As the bookstore's grand opening fast approaches, the four women must lean on each other now more than ever to navigate their grief and uncertainty. And together, they'll learn that sometimes even life's most unexpected plot twists can lead to beautiful new beginnings. Listenership is 11 hours and 34 minutes, and the narrator is Ariel Blake. Okay, while I do love this story, I wish that it was multiple narrators doing the voices for the other women because I was getting a little confused. And to me, I think you kind of did a disservice to getting a full cast for me. Like I needed that, and it would have added a little bit more better to the listenership. Other than that, the story was great. Yeah, problems within the friendship. Also, it wasn't like problems within the friendship, but I think what it was is because of their own personal problems, it affected the friendship and what they were trying to do to get this bookshop, together. And you would have thought that the bookshop would have brought them closer together, but no, because of all the drama that was going on in their lives, it started to like tear apart from them, being friends and whatnot. But other than that, it was still a decent read. I still enjoyed it tremendously. I just wish that it was a full cast and not just one person narrating for all of the women. Next, we have The Lion Woman of Tehran, and this here is by Marjan Kamali. In 1950s, Tehran 7-year-old Ellie lives in grand comfort until the untimely death of her father, forcing Ellie and her mother to move to a tiny home downtown. Lonely and bearing the brunt of her mother's endless grievances, Ellie dreams of a friend to alleviate her isolation. Luckily, on the first day of school, she meets Homa, a kind, passionate girl with a brave and an irrepressible spirit. Together, the two girls play games, learn to cook in the stone kitchen of Homa's warm home, wander through the colorful stalls of the Grand Bazaar, and share their ambitions for becoming lion women. But their happiness is disrupted when Ellie and her mother are afforded the opportunity to return to their previous burgess life. Now a popular student at the best girls' high school in Iran, Ellie's memories of Homa begin to fade. Years later, however, her sudden reappearance in Ellie's privileged world alters the course of both of their lives. Together, the two young women come of age and pursue their own goals for meaningful futures, but as the political turmoil in Iran builds to a breaking point, one earth shattering betrayal will have enormous consequences. Woo. Written with Marjan Kamali's signature, evocative, devastating, and hauntingly beautiful. The Lion Women of Tehran is a sweeping exploration of how profoundly we are shaped by those we meet when we are young and the way love and courage transform our lives. Listenership is 10 hours and 15 minutes, and this year is narrated by Mazan Navabi and Nikki Masad. Nikki Masad, yeah, honey, I know Nikki. She does a really good job. This here was so good. This was so good. At first, I thought it was just about the friendship, but then next thing you know, it started opening this whole Pandora box, and then I was like, it was good. Very heart, like gut wrenching. pulling at your heartstrings. It's got something in there that's a lot deeper, um, because it's Tehran. Like, you are dealing, it's not just a friendship, you're dealing with war and politics and women femicide, really. So all of that and how it was trying to eat at the girls or young women or women, because it goes over a span of years, really. And it just teaches you about friendship, teaches you about loyalty, um, everything, your morale, everything. Like, it is testing. Like, okay, is this really your friend? How far are you willing to go? That type of thing. It is. I'm not saying, like, this is not a soft book. This isn't soft. If you're going in there thinking it's a soft, it's not. Uh-uh. It's not just about friendship. Like, there is stuff, literal hard hitting stuff that goes on in Iran, where these girls' friendship is like legit getting tested. So yeah, this one here was a banger for me. I loved it. This was also a book of the month uh pick that I had chose. Thankfully I did, because it was really good. Next, and guess what? Last one, people. Ooh, yes. The Kiss Countdown by Etta Easton. A struggling event planner and a sinfully hot astronaut must decide if their fake relationship is worth a shot at happily ever after. In this story debut, risk averse event planner Anne-Marie Price is jobless, newly single, and about to lose her apartment. With no choice but to gamble on her shaky startup, the last thing she needed was to run into her smug ex and his new, less complicated girlfriend at Anne-Marie's favorite coffee shop. Panicked, she pretends to be dating the annoyingly sexy man she met by spilling Americano all over his abs. He plays along for a price. Half the single men in Houston claims to be astronaut, but Vincent Rogers turns out to be the real deal. What started as a one off lie morphs into a plan for the 3 months leading up to his mission. Anne-Marie will play Vincent's doting partner in front of his loving but overly invested family. In exchange, she gets a rent free room in his house and can put every penny toward her struggling business. What Anne-Marie doesn't plan for is Vincent's gravitational pull. While her mind tells her a future with this astronaut is too unpredictable, her heart says he's exactly what she needs. As their time together counts down, Anne-Marie must decide if she'll settle for the safe life or shoot for the stars. Yeah, I love these puns. The puns is doing it for me. Listenership is 10 hours and 25 minutes. Again, narrated by Angel P. And this here was actually really good. I really enjoyed the listening to this. It was so good. I love the back and forth between Anne-Marie and Vincent, and then she literally just, like, the family just took into her like real quick. So am I is that too early? Nope, because there are a lot of families that take into certain people who come into their lives pretty easy. So yeah, that's nothing new. Is That happens all the time. I do love the fake dating trope, especially when it has something where there's like a huge, like a timeline to it. And yeah, I love the whole fact that he's an astronaut. He had to go in for doing a training. He was set up for takeoff in 3 months. While she's sitting there being an event planner, she kind of just took the chance on her own from being an event planner at a company and deciding to do it on her own. I thought that was cool because that always happens with event planners. And always the first years is always like a huge struggle for them, especially money wise. How do I know that? How do I know that? Well, I actually got a certificate for being a wedding planner. Yeah, I do. So, yeah, went to yeah, did a whole school for it and got it's like a diploma slash certificate, but yeah, as an event planner. But yeah, it's always very difficult to get those businesses up, and especially trying to develop a clientele. But she already had clientele. She was just transferring them over to her business, or trying to transfer them over to her business. Yeah, but other than that, like the whole story was actually pretty cool. It was awesome just to see them, like his family struggling with the fact that he's an astronaut and going literally in outer space, where there's like no communication with them and him. And especially with the mom is like worried out of her mind, like, nah, like I did not see this for you. Why are you doing this? So it was pretty cool. I really did enjoy that. Think I've pretty much given that one a 4 stars. It was really good. Um, but yeah, we've hit it at the hour and 30 mark. I am very proud of myself. I hope you enjoyed this whole massive wrap up video. And when I say it's a wrap up, it's a wrap, honey. Like I am done. Done. So the next wrap up I'll do, it will be from September to December. And that will be the last of that for this year. So technically, I would be doing 3 for this year. I didn't want to do it every month. It's not my style. I don't like it. I just want to do it where it's just like everything done at once. But yeah, and then that way you can just see it. It will have the timestamps in there. Pick whichever one, you'll see it. Um, Also to check out my cards, because some of the books that were mentioned in here, I actually do have as a special edition, so you'll see that up there. And that is it. Please tell me down in the comment section if you have read any of these books, or if some of them sound pretty good to you. I'm here for you, people. Let me know so I can talk to you. Okay, that's what I'm here for. We here. That's what I'm here for. So, with that being said, this is it. It's a wrap. This is the way. Peace.